In this week's POW, we are doing a little bit of geometry. We're looking at the footprint of a storage unit that is 10 feet long by 10 feet wide. And we're looking to figure out how many boxes will fit along the floor of the unit if we keep an aisle that is 36 inches wide down the center of the unit. The boxes we are going to use are 18 inches long by 18 inches wide. Because we're looking at just how many boxes fit on the floor, we don't need to worry about how tall the storage unit is or how tall the boxes are. We're just concerned about the floor measurements and the measurements at the bottom of the boxes. In our last video, we talked about converting all of our measurements to inches because if we converted to feet, we would be working with decimals. So we use the ratio 12 inches to 1 foot, and we multiply that by 10 to get our dimensions of the storage unit. We know that it's 120 inches wide and 120 inches long. We also know the aisle is 36 inches. To calculate how many boxes fit in the storage unit, we're going to cut the storage unit in half. To do that, we are going to figure out how big this shaded region is. We know that one measurement is 120 inches. What we don't know is the other measurement, the shorter side of this area. To figure it out, we have to take the 120-inch measurement and we have to subtract the aisle from that length. And when you do that, you end up with 84 inches of floor space for the boxes. But that 84 inches is both sides of the aisle. To determine what's on one side of the aisle, we have to divide 84 inches in half. We end up with 42 inches from the aisle to the wall. Now we're ready to figure out how many boxes are in the storage unit. The first thing we need to look at is this 120-inch wall space. How many boxes fit along the space? My boxes are 18 inches long by 18 inches wide, so we have to split this wall into 18-inch sections. We're going to get a number. And that number tells us how many boxes fit along the wall. We next have to take that 42-inch measurement and figure out how many boxes fit in that space. Our boxes are square, 18 inches long by 18 inches wide. So we're dividing 42 by another 18 inches. And that'll give us a measurement. What these two measurements will do is split this floor space into sections. If we get a decimal, we have to remember that we cannot have a fraction of a box. We can only have whole number boxes because you can't cut a box in half and put things in it. So whatever the whole number measurements are, that's what we need to use. This means that I will have A boxes along the wall. I will have B boxes from the wall to the aisle. To figure out how many boxes are in this shaded area, I will need to multiply A times B. And that gives me the number of boxes on half of the floor. To figure out how many boxes total I will need to take my AB measurement, so A times B, and I will need to multiply that by 2, or add AB plus AB, because the two sides of the storage unit will be identical. Once you get that number, that is the amount of boxes on the floor of the storage unit. Remember, if you get decimals when you divide, you have to eliminate the decimal portion of the answer because we can't have part of a box. We can only deal with whole numbers. To figure out how many boxes total on one side of the aisle, we have to multiply our A and our B numbers together. That represents one side of the storage unit. On the other side of the aisle, I will have the same number of boxes. When you're finished, make sure you put your answer, the number of boxes, in a complete sentence. Show your work. You can draw a picture, write an equation, show me what you did to solve the problem. And then explain in a couple of sentences or with bullet points the step you took to get your answer. Do all of that, turn your POW in on time, and you will get 100% on your assignment.